It seems like the pandemic has truly ended and the rainbow for luxury watch brands is already shining. This year, luxury watchmakers have faced exceptionally strong demand for watches, forcing them to scale up production in order to keep up. Luxury watchmakers have had such a strong run that they are falling behind on demand, prompting some to delay new collections and others to increase manufacturing capacity. One of these is Rolex, a luxury timepiece, which is witnessing a similar surge in demand for its products. The brand makes around 1 million watches every year and is notoriously difficult to get in shops and through authorized dealers. Rolex scarcity has long been a challenge for authorized retailers who have had to create waiting lists or try and steer customers to other makes and models. Demand for these things outnumbers supply, particularly for sporting variants like the Submariner, which costs around 8,500 Swiss francs. But before we go deeper into detail, let me say hi and welcome you to our channel where we showcase everything that is above first class. So they say that luxury watchmakers are unable to keep up with demand, and that includes even the top brand, Rolex. These frill watchmakers face soaring demand, but there isn't enough time. As a result, they have had to delay the release of new collections and invest more to increase production capacity. Some brands reported a spike in sales of up to 73%. Does that mean the scarcity problem is indeed true and is no longer artificial? When presented with such a situation, authorized shops are known to divert customers to competitor brands and models. In response, the UK's leading Rolex merchant has stated that other luxury watch manufacturers are also experiencing strong demand and similar supply concerns. The CEO of Watches of Switzerland Group plc, Rolex, Cartier, and other authorized dealers indicated that demand for particular Cartier models, as well as Tudor, a sister brand to Rolex, is outpacing the company's 171 locations across the UK and the US. Wow, right? In an interview with Bloomberg, Chief Executive Officer Hugh Brian Duffy said, "We can't get enough Santos." He said of the Cartier Aviator watch, "We can't get enough Tudor, particularly the brand's chronograph models," he added. "We more than doubled our increases with them," Duffy said, citing Cartier, Swatch Group's Omega, LVMH's Tag Heuer, Rolex sister brand Tudor, and independent Breitling. During the pandemic, sales of luxury watches increased as rich people focused their expenditures on collecting high-end timepieces rather than vacation and leisure. As a result, businesses saw an increase in both online and in-store sales. Scarcity, on the other hand, is difficult to overcome for watchmakers. Increasing production in response to demand is not easy, since luxury timepieces are complex to make by nature, needing time and accuracy to retain the brand's character. Cartier, the second largest Swiss watchmaker, replied to unhappy consumers' requests by pledging to move production to fulfill demand for popular models to just under 3 months, a significant reduction from the industry norm of 9 to 12 months. "We have come to be super quick compared to other big competitors," Cartier CEO Cyril Vigneron answered. Despite the drop in equities and cryptocurrency prices, retail demand for Rolex, Patek Philippe, and Audemars Piguet watches continues to surpass supply, according to Duffy. "Demand is just off the scale for those brands. We would love to have more of them," he added. And debunking the scarcity as a strategy myth, some of these big names in the industry have finally given their word. Unlike several other businesses, Swiss watchmakers claim they can't simply raise output to meet rising demand. Luxury timepieces are sophisticated and precise by definition. They claim that maintaining quality requires time to create. "The scarcity of our products is not a strategy on our part," Rolex Geneva stated in a rare public statement in September in response to complaints from disgruntled would-be customers and skyrocketing pre-owned market prices. "Our current production cannot meet the existing demand in an exhaustive way, at least not without reducing the quality of our watches," the closely held company said. According to Morgan Stanley, Cartier, the second largest maker of Swiss watches last year, may have a solution. Cartier's CEO, Cyril Vigneron, told investors and analysts on a conference call last week that the company can now shift production to match demand for popular models in just 3 months, compared to the industry average of 9 to 12 months. Following a long, horrendous pandemic in 2020, the global economy recovered impressively last year and kicked out 2022 with a boom, despite Russia's war in Ukraine creating fresh worries. Sales of Hermes watches increased by 73% last year, making them the company's best-performing product. "We had an extraordinary year in the watches business," Hermes Vice President Guillaume Dessein told AFP at Watches and Wonders in Geneva, one of the industry's largest annual presentations. "We can feel a very strong dynamic for watchmaking everywhere in the world," he added, adding that a men's watch model was in high demand last year. "We could have even sold more if we had been able to make more," Dessein said, noting that watchmakers face a, quote, demand phenomenon that exceeds production capacity. His priority for this year is to invest in production. The Oris brand also had a very strong year, said its chief executive, Rolf Studer. Oris watches range in price from 1,800 to 7,200 Swiss francs, which is 1,928 to 7,710 US dollars, or 1,767 euros to 7,064 euros. And since this did not make enough watch movements, their internal mechanics in its workshops, the business had to postpone the debut of a new collection in the higher price range. The watch was intended to be released last summer, but it is just now becoming available. "We planned too conservatively," Studer said. "So we decided to keep the movements for the watches that were already out instead of launching new models and not be able to supply existing models already on the market," he added. Swiss watch exports increased by 31.2% last year, following a 21.8% drop in 2020 when governments blocked borders and imposed tight COVID restrictions. Exports have surpassed not just pre-pandemic levels, but also the previous year's record. According to industry figures, they increased by about 16% in the first 2 months of this year. However, the rebound was limited to watches priced more than 3,000 Swiss francs. The financial services industry is now prepared for the consequences from the Ukraine conflict and sanctions against Russia, which has a sizable, wealthy clientele. For higher-end watches, though, the industry can rely on large wait lists. "Since we didn't have enough watches for the other markets, we will sell those that won't be delivered to Russia elsewhere." Edouard Melan, CEO of HAFP, spoke with Moser & Cie. All of his 2022 output has already been pre-sold to merchants, with final consumers paying in part. H. Moser only produces 2,000 watches every year, each costing 45,000 Swiss francs on average. Even requests for watches that need a 2-year wait are being rejected by the craftsmen. "There's uncertainty that can be created in other markets, particularly financial markets," Melan said. "But we would have to have a big crash for an independent brand like ours to be affected," he added. According to industry insiders, rising worldwide wealth, fueled by equities and cryptocurrency, as well as the growth of online watch collectors and information sites, has generated a new generation of young collectors buying and selling watches online. And as more collectors want to flaunt their Swiss status symbols on Instagram and TikTok, social media certainly aided sales and will continue to bring it to new heights. It remains to be seen how many new watch buyers and sellers, startups, and online marketplaces will stick around if pre-owned prices and demand plummet. Do you think these luxury watch brands will ever be able to keep up with the increasing demand? Or will they continue chasing with the demands? Thank you guys for watching. We hope you enjoyed this video, because we did. Don't forget to hit like, leave a comment, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell for more amazing videos like this one. Bye, and we'll see you in the next video.